at that point, this is for both of you, you know, are you both ever thinking, I'm going to be a Premier League champion? I mean, at what point did you realise you were going to be as good as you are now? And, you know, same for you. When did you have that moment? There must have been a moment where you knew.
I always knew. There was no doubt in my mind that I would win the Premier League. I don't know why, but there was absolutely no doubt in my mind.
There was no doubt in mine. I just never thought I would. There wasn't anything to doubt. I didn't even bother thinking about it. Not because I didn't. Well, yeah, it just didn't even cross my mind. Like we're so the same, but we're so different in so many ways. Like
I think we are both very mentally strong. We've had to be, but we tackle it in two completely different ways. I've always said with you how I would love to be as easygoing as you, because you seem to deal with things in a way, and then you're able to put it to one side and get on with it. Whereas I will obsess about it and be frustrated, analyse every single view and angle of it. Whereas you probably do the same, but you just maybe express it in a completely different way.
Oh yeah, I haven't got the balls, if you like, to act like you act. Like I want to. Like I've got the frustration. Like I want to be like a rampaging bull, but I just can't back it up, because it will come to a point where I just can't do that. I can't be that way for long enough, and for it to be natural for me. So that's why, even if I am like upset or angry, my immediate way to do it is to just go, all right, and just give myself as much time. I almost try to use that as my aggression.
Yeah.
My aggression would be that if I felt someone had let me down, for instance, or I got taken out of the team, mine would be, okay. And I'd happily just sit there staring at someone like, well, that's my different style of aggression to you. But like it's an aggression and like a power that you need. But like I think we just express in two totally different ways.
Completely. I mean, I think the thing I value most in football is honesty.
Yeah.
That's the most. I mean, if you don't think I'm good enough, tell me. That's fine. Yeah. That is your opinion, and you are completely entitled to that. But give me something. If you don't think I'm good enough, tell me what you want me to do, and I will do it. But don't sit there and say, "Oh, yeah, you're working well. Like, just keep going and all that." Don't string me along. Do you know what I mean? Tell me, and just be honest, or at least have the balls to tell me, and don't just let your coaches say, "Oh, you can't train with the first team." You know, it's one of them. Just be honest. If I'm not your cup of tea, fine. That's absolutely fine. Do you
think that's just a goalkeeper thing? I know we've talked about that a lot. Or do you think outfield players would want that level of honesty?
Well, I think because obviously when you put it into percentages, like less than 10% of your squad as a manager is a goalkeeper. So the majority of the squad, I don't know, even if you don't fancy a striker, you still might need him to come on and score you a goal. Whereas we are just totally different, aren't we? We just want it straight, like you play or you don't play, simple, done. Don't think you're good enough for me, I don't think it's going to work out, son. All right.
Sound. But then we know where we stand.
Yeah. There's
no frustration towards you or anger, as long as you're honest, absolutely fine. And if there's something, like I'm saying, if I'm not good enough, tell me what you want, and I will do everything in my power to be that. And if I'm not good enough, then I'm not good enough.
Yeah, but
give me something concrete to work for. Do you think I'm too slow, or do you think I'm too much this, or do you not think I'm this? Say, you're not my cup of tea. I want you to work on your mentality, or I want you to work on your expression. I want you to work on your feet. But give me something to work with. If I'm still under contract, which I was at that time, give me something to work with, and I'll go train twice a day, 3 times a day. I'll train with the reserves, with the under 16, whoever you want me to, but I will work on what you have asked of me and what you need for me to be in your first team. And then we will never have a problem. It's the non-conversation, or the chat. Yeah, I'd rather just tell me honestly.
Have the honest conversation.
And that was a frustrating part at that time of the sort of. I weren't being allowed to train, and I weren't given anything to work on, and I wasn't allowed to leave.
So you get a lifeline somewhere.
Well, I got 2 lifelines in the form from the Bundesliga and the La Liga, and I was like, these are unbelievable opportunities for me to go. And I saw these things slip away from me all the time, and it got to the point where we were coming to, we were 3 games in, and it was a couple of days before deadline day, and there was nothing left. Everyone had taken, and then all of a sudden, I came in from training one day as a missed call from Sven. So I called him back, and I said, I'm going into Notts County. Do you want to come? And I'll be honest, at that point, I didn't care where it was. If I could go, I'd go. So I took it in, saying, listen, I'll take him, but he's not let me go anywhere, so I doubt it. They'll let me go. And they wouldn't let me go. But I think Sven called someone at City, and they made it happen. And I think it ended up being a free as well. Yeah. I mean, I think they just let
owed
me go.
You that, like
they just let me go in the end, and
it was so
again,
owed to you, man.
Best decision ever for me. I mean, City were great to me in so many ways, for the education they gave me through football, for the people that I was able to work with, all that kind of stuff, and I'll forever be grateful for that. The annoying thing is that those years are a little bit tarnished because of the way it ended.
Right.
That feeling.
You know it better than, you know it better than anyone. I mean,
but no, I know what you mean.
You know it better than anyone, and it's a shame. It's a shame that things end like that sometimes. I mean, yours was 10 times worse than mine.
And it's not though at the time, is it? Like everyone's right now is the biggest thing that's going to happen to them.
But I mean, yours is worse. I'll say that. But for me, I got out and I was going to play again, and that was the most important thing. And I didn't care where it was, what level it was. I just needed to get away, fresh start, and go and play. And
this Notts County were League 2.
No, Notts County were League 2,
and they'd just been like, to get Sven was obviously
that was big. Wasn't it?
Oh my, kidding.
That was big.
So they'd just been taken over, hadn't they, with intention?
Well, they had been taken over. It wasn't real in the end, but yeah, they'd been taken over, and they had these great plans. And Sven came and met with me and talked me through all these plans. And
Sven's no mug, so if it's Sven's saying it's okay,
that's what I mean.
It's okay.
Sven was saying it, and things were happening, and like I was like, wow, okay.
Didn't he say a few years ago, trust me?
He did.
So
he did. So he.
That's what you did.
I shouldn't have trusted him, but I did.
Okay.
But again, I don't know. Sven's a nice guy. I mean, and yeah, I trusted him. I did. I still do. And I will forever be grateful to that man. He gave me my Premier League debut. He gave me my first big contract. He took me to Notts County, got me away from, the situation I was in, and he took me to my current club, Leicester. So I'll be forever grateful to him for what he's done for my career.
Interesting you say you shouldn't trust him, and you've just made those big events.
No, but hindsight's the easiest thing in the world. Yeah. But it was what it was. But
I don't think people would realise that his journey has had so many twists and, let's call them, bumps in the road. But I always say that there's one person that has an impact on a career, whether it's a decision, whether it's taking you somewhere, whether it's, you've had that relationship with them. And it sounds like Sven was
one of them.
I know there's many.
There's a few.
There's many.
Sven was the first one, like I said, that called me world class. That's the first person ever to call me world class. My coach back in Denmark, he was the first one ever to call me one of Denmark's biggest talents. Those 2 phrases stuck with me always.
Okay.
Sven took me to Notts County, and again, I'm grateful for that, because it gave me an opportunity to go and play, and we played. And it was a mad season, because the whole palaver of Notts County, and we were flying private jets to games and stuff like that. But it was all a farce, and I'd signed a 5-year contract. The plans Sven had showed me was amazing and all that. But then we got to probably September, and I didn't get paid. October, didn't get paid. November, December. I think we got to about March or April where I still hadn't got paid in all that time. So I knew something was wrong. But to be honest with you, I didn't care. I just wanted to play football. I was so happy playing football. I was just in the moment, loving it. Sven had left by then. We'd had Hans back in as coach. We'd had, we'd had intermittent coaches, and then we ended up with Steve Cottrell, who was in the end the man to see the job through. We were in 9th when he came, and we finished 1st, won the league. Great season, amazing season. But the club were in so much debt that they wouldn't be able to honour my contract and some of the other contracts. So in the end, we just said, right, thanks, amazing year, love it, but we just split.
Can I just say, like, you went from Premier League, you went from being having options to play in the Bundesliga, playing Serie A for big clubs you alluded to, being told you're world class, being told you were, knowing how good you were, knowing where you should be playing. You could have easily been playing when I was where I was playing, and then, you could have easily been playing where Shea Given was, or whatever. You could have been at Manchester City doing what they do, and still there now, whatever. And then you get the option to go and play for Notts County. Obviously, they had more money than people usually would in that league. They offered you good money, but you still went there and you still smashed it to pieces. You kept, you were League 2 Player of the Year in your position. I think you kept, I don't know how many clean sheets, but it was
26.
It was late 20s. Like
26 clean sheets.
Yeah.
But that's some mentality that.
Yeah.
And Notts County did not just all of a sudden muster up a new training ground. They did not muster up a new stadium.
They
did not muster up 50,000 supporters. They didn't.
No.
So you played for Notts County like you were playing for your team is Man United, right? So you played for Notts County like you were playing for Man United in the Champions League, and that is some mentality to have.
But it just comes down to one thing, and that's love. I love playing football. That was simply having been. It was like being drowned at City. It was like being drowned and coming up for air. That's all I can liken it to. When you haven't had what you've craved for so long, that you feel is vital for you to survive in your profession, which is games. When you haven't had them for a year, I got chucked in for one game in the UEFA Cup
on the Spanish team, right?
On the day, Racing Santander.
That was it, yeah.
On the day, I had no idea. I had no idea. We've been up till about,
yeah.
till about 12 at night, just sat there chatting. I thought, geez, 12, right, let's go to bed. But played that game and I
so there, hold on. So your last game was in the Europa League, like, which was whatever it was called.
UEFA Cup.
UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
And then.
And but I went there and I felt part of the team. Felt important again to a team. Felt like people were relying on me again, and that I was wanted. I was needed. And I had the Saturdays. Saturday, Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But I had the games, which were what I'd been missing. So I just got on with it. And I said, it was a shame.
Just for the record, that's not easy. So.
Yeah.
No, listen, it wasn't easy
because
it was different. It was different. No, it wasn't. It was different. But at the end of the day, a game's a game. Whether you're up against a League 2 striker or Premier League striker, if he gets the ball 25 yards and hits it right, doesn't matter what league he's in, if he hits it correctly and it goes top corner, you still have to save it the same way as you do in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're slightly more clinical than the Premier League, I'd say. But at the end of the day, it was a game, and that was what was important to me. The situation happened as it happened. I couldn't stay there. It was very obvious that I couldn't stay there. So again, I was free, and I ended up without a contract for about a month. Again, no club, and we're approaching 1st of July. I had no club. I think, Jesus Christ.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it? This guy.
I had absolutely no club.
No club.
I remember going for a meeting with. I was with my dad. He had to pop in somewhere and see his accountant, who was over from England. He had to pop in. We were going somewhere else. He had to just pop in, see his accountant, and we sat there. And he goes, "Oh, what's happening with you, Kasper?" That's nothing at the moment. There's just nothing happening. He says, "Oh, okay. I seem to remember seems maybe Leeds was looking for a keeper or something. It's like, right, well, do you know anyone? Yeah, I know the chief. Let me give him a ring. Rang him, said, I sat here with Kasper. Are you still looking for a keeper? And he goes, yeah. He goes, well, what about Kasper? And it just progressed really, really quickly from there. And I was on a plane the next morning. No plane tickets at all. So I sat in the cockpit with the pilots. I was allowed to sit in the cockpit with the pilots. And I sat in there, flew to Manchester, drove over to
from Denmark. This is
from Denmark. Yeah, drove over to Leeds and signed 2-year contract. And started probably a week later. Went back to Denmark, packed all my stuff, came back to England, moved house, moved back to Manchester again. This was not too far from you. And I remember after about 3 weeks thinking, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? It was just the wrong club for me at that time. It was very, very clear very early on that it was the wrong club for me.
Right.
It was a club where I was not accepted, and my history, or my father's history, was very, very evident among the fans that they did not approve of that, and I just didn't feel welcome at all in the club. By the whole club, that's the manager as well. You know, didn't really give me any kind of confidence.
Who's the manager?
Simon Grayson.
Yeah.
And you know, very disruptive year. I had an injury for a month. I was out for a month, and I had a decent season, I thought. Not, you know, it didn't set the world alight, but I had a solid enough season. And yeah, I did not enjoy my time there at all. It was a really, really bad time. And I was at home in Denmark for the season after. We missed out on playoffs. So I was at home season after, and Sven called me again and said, do you want to come to Leicester? I was like, yeah. Oh yes, get me away. But then after I'd kind of spoke, I thought, you know, I'm moving. I need to stay somewhere. I need, people just see me as this guy. I go play here, there, then. I need to go somewhere and actually, I need to tough this out. So I said, no, I've got to stay. So about 2 weeks go by. I'm in Copenhagen still. I'm driving up to my mum and dad's house, and one of my friends rings me on the phone and goes, "Oh, congratulations!" I'm like, what do you mean? He says, "You moved to Leicester?" He goes, "What do you mean we moved to Leicester? How do you know about that? What are you on about? That's all over the news." Says, "What do you mean it's all over the news?" I'm in the car, so I pull in, get my phone out. It's on all the Danish papers that I'm signing for Leicester. That an official statement from Leeds, that official comment that Simon Grayson said that, you know, that he wanted me to go. He didn't think I was good enough, so they'd reached an agreement with Leeds. I was like, gee, what the? Right, now I'm gonna have to ring you back, mate. Put the phone down. Went up to my dad's house. Said, "Dad, have you seen this?" And he's like, "Well, seen what?" I said, "Turn on." So we had we had English TV. So it was on the little ticker tape on Sky Sports. And I'm sat there in Denmark.
That's how you found out?
I'm sat there in Denmark thinking, what is going on here? Trying to ring the club. No one at the club picking their phone up. No one picking up. And finally, about 3 hours later, I get a call from Simon Grayson. Yeah, I just want to say, listen, we've accepted a deal, and yeah, we're going to be taking. We think we can do better. Yeah, that's the way it's going to be. So like, well, do I get a say in this? I said, I'm just in a bad area. I'll bring you back in a bit.
But you can do better. What do you mean? As in a better
I don't know. You'd probably get a better keeper or something.
All right.
I don't know.
No.
Anyway, I'll ring you back in a bit. Never rang back. So I had to put out a statement saying, well, listen, Leeds have accepted a deal. This is without my knowledge.
Yeah.
But if they want me to leave, okay, then we'll have to talk about it. So then I had Ken Bates ring me, say, well, either basically I can't remember the exact comment, but the basic gist was, well, either you leave or you're with the academy for the rest of the season. It's up to you. So I'd already said no to Leicester at this point because I thought, right, I need to play. But so they were in the process of signing someone else. So I had to ring Sven and say, listen, I don't know what's going on here, but if you want me, I'm here 100%. I want to work for you again. And he goes, oh, good, right, let me ring you back. And so he rang me back. We were a bit far down the line with someone else and all that. I'm like, tearing my hair out. I'm sat in Denmark here and all this is carnage. And in the end, he rang me back probably about 11 at night. He says, no, listen, we'll get it done. Thank you. Right, so travelled over to Leicester the day after, had the medical, got it done. And, you know, a club straight away that I felt wanted me and I felt welcome and felt at home instantly. First day I walked into the training ground, the atmosphere, from what I'd just come from at Leeds, the welcoming atmosphere of just the first person I met in reception, how everyone just, oh, hello, and so happy you're here, blah, you know, like, wow, it's amazing. Wow, just such a nice atmosphere from day one was great. And we had a mad first season. We played Real Madrid in my first home game in a friendly. You know, played Casillas, Ronaldo, Ramos, all these boys coming here. We lost 2-1. We played actually all right. You know, again, new owners, and I'd kind of seen this before at City and at Notts County, not quite knowing, but then it was after I met them, and these people were different. These owners were different. These cared deeply, not just about their club.
Not surface
They cared
level.
about the people in the club. They cared about the players. They cared about everyone. And that didn't matter what your role was. If you're at the stadium or the training ground, you mattered. And they made you feel wanted. And the way we hit it off straight away is so natural. It was like we'd known each other for a long, long time already. And that helped me settle instantly. And we had a weird first season in Leicester. Sven got sacked after 10 games, and after a 3-0 home defeat to Millwall. And then we talked about pivotal people, pivotal points. Nigel Pearson.
In the Championship, Leicester in the
Championship, yeah. So Nigel Pearson comes in, and Nigel is one of those guys, again, along with my Danish coach, along with Tim Flowers, along with you know, the other ones we talked about. He's now a very, very important figure in my career. He pulled me after about a week, and just like a brief conversation, he said, by the way, I've known about you for a long time and I was never too sure, but I'm having you. Like, but that it made me feel $1 million, you know, that it took me a week to turn someone's opinion into that. And we had a great relationship from there on in.
I don't know him, but he comes across like he'd tell you exactly how you feel.
He was fantastic. I mean, we talk about honesty. Guy's brutally honest. Yeah. And I had one situation where I came back from an injury where he didn't play me, and I had a frank conversation with him but he just stared me down. I knew, right, okay, I've got to shut up here. I'm gonna lose this. I'm not gonna win this argument. But he built the infrastructure of the club. He built an amazing atmosphere, and a lot of the people that he brought in are still there. And he has a huge, massive credit in what Leicester is today and what Leicester has achieved from what he put in place, the infrastructure and how he built that club up. Mm-hmm. And he was a very pivotal kind of figure. You know, I captained my first game under him. He made me vice captain, and you know, he put a lot of faith into me. And as a person, you know, he was just he really cared about his players. Still cares about his players. You know, he treats them like his own children. You know, he looks after you, and anything, you could always go to him with anything. And that was amazing for me. So we had that first season. Obviously, he came in and he had a big rebuilding job to do. Second season, we gave it a good go. We ended up, we were inconsistent. We made it to the playoffs in that crazy game against Watford where we missed the penalty and they went up and scored, which was minging. It was horrible. The worst end to a summer ever.
That was crazy.
The worst end to a summer ever. That is. I mean, ask my wife. I was no company for the first at least 4 weeks of that summer because, God, I was in a foul mood after that.
But who missed the pen? Knockout.
Knockout, yeah. And we, to the credit, we refocused. You could just tell the first day we were in for the next pre-season, everyone had a chip on their shoulder. Like, that is not happening again. We are not letting that happen again. And we breezed through the league. I mean, we won the league and we were brilliant that year. And Nigel was class, brought it through. And then we got to the Premier League, which was the promised land. And I was out of contract again. So I didn't have a contract. And
why did it got all the way there?
Because we had a sporting director who didn't really believe in giving contracts out at all to anyone. So
good strategy.
Yeah, it was a weird one. So after my contract ran out, they came with an offer. He came with it. The club didn't know anything about it. So he came to me with an offer, which was less than in the Championship, and I was like, hang on, what's going on here? So I get a call from the owner saying, well, what's going on? So, well, have you heard about the offer they gave me? No. He says, well, I think you need to speak to your sporting director. So he spoke to a sporting director, and a week later, it was all sorted. I signed in a lobby in Spain somewhere on holiday. Completely mad situation. But it was all sorted and ended up in the Premier League, and it was great. Played the first year, and then I got injured. I broke my foot the day before we were meant to play you. Yeah. Playing Man City, I came out in training for a one-on-one. I'd been sore for a bit, and ball kind of hit me on the chest. As I've got up, I've tried to set off on my left, and I just remember it just snapping, and I missed probably 2 months with that, which was frustrating. I'd worked so hard to get back to the Premier League, and now again I was first choice in the Premier League, and then I hadn't been injured for so many years, and then bam, injury. So that was a really frustrating time. But again, we came back. We had the great escape. With 10 games to go, 10 points from safety, and we won, I think, 7 out of 10. Drew 200.
One of them was against us. No, I'm sure it was it. Yeah.
It might have been, yeah. It might have been. But anyway, we saved ourselves the second to last day of the season. Sunderland away. 0-0 draw. Yeah. And then again, uproot, complete new structure, new manager in. Again, we started pre-season without a manager that year. Yeah. And obviously Claudio came in, and we had a great season. And
so, what are you thinking when Claudio comes in?
Well, it was again another new manager, no idea what to expect. Mm-hmm. No idea what to expect at all. So you just playing it by ear, mm-hmm. seeing what happens as it goes along. Mm-hmm. I remember we were away in Austria, and no one had a clue what was going on. Nigel had just left, and it was just a bit carnage, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But what we had the best group of lads you could ever want. The group of lads was just amazing. How we interacted together, how we worked together, it was fantastic, and we just had such momentum and belief that from 10 games, saving ourselves from that situation, the momentum we'd built, it just flowed over, it just carried on. Yeah. If you know what I mean. The belief we'd found, but it was as if we'd cracked the code. We'd found a way of winning. Yeah. We went 18 games without winning in the Premier League, and then all of a sudden we found a way of doing it. It's like a light bulb moment. Oh, that's how you do it. Let's just keep doing that then. Yeah. Mm. So that was basically what happened, and it snowballed. It snowballed and snowballed all the way through, and we got to around Christmas, and we were number one. We beat Swansea away 3-0, and we were number one at Christmas. And being number one at Christmas, only 2 teams in the last 12 years or something hadn't gone on to win the league. No one expected us to do it. We did. We thought, we were going to do it. Of course we're going to do it. Why not? You know, if we just keep doing what we're doing, we've got N'Golo Kante, we've got Riyad Mahrez, we've got Jamie Vardy. Why shouldn't we be able to keep doing it? Yeah. And we just did.
Yeah, but
we lost twice to Liverpool.
They weren't N'Golo Kante at the time. They weren't Riyad Mahrez at the time.
And Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, but they were because we saw them every day in training. That's the thing. We saw it every day. So to us, it was natural. To the outside world, that only saw us once a week. Yeah. It was unnatural. And obviously,
I remember always talking to him, like, because I was obviously, I'm interested anyway. I'm interested for you. And obviously, next minute we're in a title race against each other. Yeah. But it was just interesting. Like, it is.
I mean, that goes back to when I asked you, did you ever think that you were going to be Premiership champions? You know, you started off 8 years.
When you think it, the story is mad. It's an insane story that we've ended where we've ended.
I remember countless times being sat in there talking to you and just chilling.
I mean, I remember coming here for dinner sometimes during the title race, and we just sat there just chatting, saying, "This is a bit mad, this, isn't it?" Yeah. And we, I remember we lost to Arsenal. We only lost 3 games that season, and we lost twice to Arsenal, once to Liverpool. That was it. And we played you boys at the Etihad.
We beat us 3-1.
And we beat you 3-1, and we played well. And I remember going back in the dressing room. Everyone was just sat like, Jesus Christ.
You smashed us.
We'd just gone to the Etihad. And
that was, do you know what? That game was, I remember saying to you, can I come to a game? And it was way ahead. It was at the Etihad, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I was going to bring some people to the game, and I thought I'll easily be able to get tickets for that game because it's Leicester. And it happened to be like a decider. It was going to be.
That was for us the moment.
That was the moment for us. That was the moment where the intention was to put Leicester to bed. To put this, like, whatever the hell was going on, we were putting it to bed. Yeah. And we got put to bed bad.
We had a great game. I mean, Houthi scored after what?
Yeah, not
really early.
Yeah, like a
we were 2-0
goal.
up after like 6 minutes, and you think, geez, 2-0 up at the Etihad. Ooh, that's a long time to hold on. But we didn't have to hold on. We actually played well.
And I'm thinking we're 2-0 down, but it's no problem.
Yeah, it's only 6 minutes in. We'll get this back. And
we bang everyone, like we beat everyone at the end, and then it just kept coming and coming and obviously that made it could work even more in your favour, because once you were 1-up, you could defend all day, and you had absolute rocket ships that you know, you had the Drinkwater playing the perfect ball to Vardy and Mahrez.
We basically had a double man in midfield with N'Golo, because he was counting for 2 men at least. But it was that. And I remember going home after the game. I was sat in my car, thinking, right, this is it. We're going to do it now. I've always said it's going to come at some point. This is it. It's going to happen now. And from there, we didn't look back. Like we didn't look back from there. And
I remember you beat Tottenham 1-0 away.
Yes, that was huge.
That was huge.
That was huge.
I thought they were, like, I don't know your season well, but those two I thought were just like,
That was massive, because obviously Tottenham were the big rivals. In the end, they ended up not being, but you know, they were the big rivals in that title race, and it was always one of them that we always had to watch their games, and I couldn't bear to watch them. I remember doing mad stuff. I remember driving to the cinema, leaving my phone switched off in the car, just sitting on my own in the cinema, watching a film, thinking I can't, because if I was out, people would be talking to me about this.
You were on your
stuff.
own at this time as well, weren't you?
So I was literally on my own. I didn't want, in the cinema, people aren't going to speak to me. I was out there, hood up, just watching a film, knowing that this game's going on, thinking, right, I'd rather that just switch the phone on. What score was it? Right. That's it. Instead of the agony of following 90 minutes of, come on, you know what I mean? Yeah. That was emotionally draining. So then Tottenham drew one of these games. Tottenham drew. So they did they beat Stoke away 4-0, like emphatic win. Harry Kane posted the Lions picture, you know, as if they were approaching their prey. And then they drew at home to West Brom, and I had the same kind of situation, but I was at home, so I was stood there. I was doing a bit of cooking. I'd left my phone sort of away, and I don't know why, but I checked it, and it was the first time I'd done it in the title. I checked my phone, and it was going mental. I was thinking, what's going on here? Switch the TV on, 2-2 with 5 minutes to go. Oh my God, right, come on. And it was just horrible. But yeah, we got to Man United away, where we could win the league. We could win the league at Man United away, and I remember the night before thinking, this is what I was meant to do. Man United away, winning the league here. Come on, let's do it. But we drew. We were 1-0 down. United blew us away the first 20 minutes. We were 1-0 down, and then Wes got a goal back, and we should have won. And it was mad. We were sat in the dressing room afterwards thinking, we're disappointed at not winning the Premier League at Man United. That's how far we've come, that we can sit here and be disappointed. So Tottenham play at Chelsea the next day, and I've got my family there and all that. And we went down again, same thing. I asked everyone phones, leave them at home. We walked down to a little village, went for dinner, and I was a wreck.
Everyone was at Vardy's, weren't they? And I was like,
yeah, I
remember speaking to you.
I didn't want to be.
Like, I don't know.
Didn't want to be anywhere. I didn't want to go through the agony.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just go out for dinner with my family and just relax and then know the score when it was done, because we could become champions. And I was a mess, and I remember my family finding it hilarious, absolutely hilarious, that I couldn't sit still. I was fidgeting and I was snapping at everyone, and it was horrible. And we ended up walking home, and it was only half time in the game. So I said to my wife, right, I'm going to take the kids to bed, put the kids to bed. So I sat in there. My wife comes in and goes to say goodnight to the kids. And she's got this look on her face. I'm looking at her. Oh, you know something. I said, no, I don't know anything. Like, you're a rubbish liar. You know something. And she just went, it's all over. Tottenham 2-0 up. It's all over. She says, what do you mean it's all over? Yeah, there's probably about 25 minutes left. So, all right, I might as well watch it then. 2-0 up, nothing to pay for. Watch the game. I had my son with me. My son wouldn't sleep, so I sat there with him like this, and he falls asleep. And they score the first goal. And I'm like, right, I'll just stay calm, stay calm. And he sat there watching it, and Hazard scores the goal.
Worldy as well.
Yeah, worldy. And I'm like, we must miss it. Take him, please. And I just stood there like this for the last, because there was 6 minutes extra because all the carnage and all that.
Booting the hell out.
I remember my brother-in-law used to sat there filming me, and I just stood like this, and it happens. And the final whistle goes, just. I just couldn't believe it. I just sat down, stunned silence. Didn't know what, everyone's celebrating around me, and I'm just absolutely like, didn't know what to feel, didn't know what to say. It was just, this was it. I knew it was coming one day, but now it's here. It's insane. Everything you've ever dreamt of, everything you've worked for, all those hours traveling up to games everywhere, culminating in this one moment. This was all worth it. And sat at home with my kids, with my family. Wow, amazing. Just most amazing moment. And phone went absolutely ballistic. And I stayed with him for a couple of hours. Then I drove down to Leicester, drove to be with the boys after. And if I could ever live another 2 weeks, that 2-week period following, it would be them. It was just the most unbelievable time. I mean, the last 3 years have been unbelievable. But yeah, that was just amazing.
Amazing. What would you say to your 14-year-old self, knowing what you know now, Kasper?
Don't sign contracts unless you're 100% sure. No, listen, my career has been what it's been, and yeah, I would have loved to. I feel like I should have another 300 games in the Premier League, and I should have another 50, 60 caps than I do, but it wouldn't have made me the person or the goalkeeper that I am. Mm-hmm. So it's all been an education. It all is an education. It never stops. Mm-hmm. So For me, I am happy, but I'm not content. I want more, because once more. Once you've tried it, you know you want it again. You want it again. You want to try something like that again. That feeling is, yeah, it's, you can't compare it to anything. Once you've had that feeling of winning, Jesus, it'll never subside. And if the day that subsides, where my will and my passion to go in and put in all the hours, once that subsides, that's the day I'll retire. If it ever does, I don't know. But you know, if I don't have that passion, then I'm not.